urban EDC considerations. A lot of you know the list of things to carry, but you're missing the methodology. So let's talk about that. So what do I mean about methodology? Well, everyone has the list of the things they need to carry. There's some obvious urban considerations, right? Firearms. Got to have your booger hooker on your bang stick, right? Got to have that available. You got to have that available in under 1.5 seconds and 25 meters to be effective. 3 seconds is the average length of a gunfight. So something to consider, right? Do it legally. Access it quick. I'm a big fan of right on the right hip, but I had a lot of experience in military and law enforcement. My brain is programmed to that location. I don't shame you if you put it somewhere else, but I have seen people remove appendages with appendix carry, so I'm not a fan. What I mean by methodology is take the thing that you need, add the way that you need to replenish it. So if we need a firearm, I need ammunition. If I need a firearm and ammunition, I need medical supplies. If I need medical supplies, I need speed with those medical supplies. I need training. I need tourniquets. I need sucking chest wound. I need a phone. If I need a phone, I need a battery. If I need a battery, I need cables to recharge. So think things through with your methodology. Consider if I need this thing and something goes bad, I will need that thing. If I need that thing, I need this thing. They stack on top of each other. So once you start thinking about what stacks on top of what, that's the methodology that I'm talking about. The other thing I want you to consider is layering. What do I mean by layering? It's expensive and not always wise to have a pocket knife in your pants and your bag and your car and at your home. And maybe a knife isn't the best example. But if you start having to buy a med kit and a firearm and a knife and things for every single kit that you've got, it gets expensive and you're leaving sharp and explosive devices around all over the place. However, if you have a layering system, it becomes more effective. So layering would be firearm on the hip, followed by firearm quick accessible inside the bag, followed by some sort of a holster system or a long gun in the vehicle. That way we've got two. Use a small one to fight back to the big one, or have a place that you can move the item from place to place to place to place. There's some things I always EDC on my person. Pocket knife, a phone, 90% of the time a firearm, and my keys. With those things, and I should say my watch as well, I have a light. I have that same thing on my cell phone. This is solar panel rechargeable. I've got dope data for long range, which isn't exactly EDC, but beneficial. I've got data for fitness. With my pocket knife, I can do a number of primitive skills things. And even though you're in an urban area, there's still trees, there's still plants, there's still wild edibles, there's still friction fire making material, there's still bedding and needles that you can use from a pine tree. There's real needles too. And you can use your primitive living skills in an urban situation to accomplish the same thing. So just because you're in an urban situation doesn't mean those primitive living skills are not valuable. Just because you're in the backcountry doesn't mean the urban communication and urban skills aren't valuable. They are definitely transposable, especially when you start looking at those little pockets of greenery inside of cities, whether it's along the side of a train track, at a park, or some other place like that. So methodology, take what you have on your person, a knife, keys, a phone, those type of things, and say, what do I need to add to that? That's what should go in your EDC bag. I will usually carry a bag like this, or a smaller bag, or a larger bag, and I will move the kits from one place to the other. Well, if you've got a phone, you don't oftentimes have an actual emergency situation, or you can at least request backup and assistance, but not unless it's not charged. That is so loud. So I have these Anchor batteries. I've also got a dark energy battery that I like to use. I can roll for a week or more with just this device to recharge my phone or my GPS or whatever. And the key takeaway here, or the Achilles heel, is I got to have a cable that will both recharge my phone and recharge this device. And then when I'm driving, I can recharge this device. When I'm at a hotel, I can recharge this device. If I'm at a library, I can extend my capacity for communication a week or more. Now, when it comes to a knife, if I want to transition from just a simple EDC knife like this one, I've got a little DPX Hess that I've carried for years. It's quick at opening, so I can just pop it open fast, which means it's a good defense knife. It's also something I can lock and turn into a semi-fixed blade because it's got a really robust locking mechanism, so that I can treat this like a living skills, a backcountry survival type knife. Now, if I want to back that up, I need a bigger fixed blade, more robust type of knife would be the next level. Now, I've been demoing knives for years, so I've got a lot of options. An Andal knife, it's one of my favorites. It's got all the Morse Kohansky attributes, continuous curve, full tang, indestructible handle material, and all that type of stuff. So if you're going to step up a level from something like a folder knife, you can use something like this and both get your defense needs met and your survival needs. I can bust out bow drills, hand drills, do a lot of different things with this. The thing is, it kind of moves from urban to rural because it's a neck knife, right? Not something super hidden. That doesn't mean I can't just slip it down inside here and wear it like this, which is the way that I wear it pretty regularly. This gives me the ability to EDC a survival knife that could be used to create tools, manufacture traps, and deal with stuff, or self-defense. Now, if we're going to talk just specifically about self-defense, one of my favorite tools is a shiv pick or a clinch pick. I have a Bantang right here. It's dual-bladed. This guy right there. Dual-bladed, I mean double-sided blade. And it's ridiculously sharp. I like to keep this in the front of the hip so that I can access it from either side, right? So whether or not I'm gonna grab it with my left hand or my right hand, make sure that your knife will both fulfill the utilitarian tool role and the self-defense rule, and it fits within the bounds of legality, because what good is a defense mechanism that's gonna put you in jail? Some other things that I like to EDC in an urban area is escape and evasion tools or entry tools. The main reason for that is if it gets legit grid down and you need to get inside of an abandoned building, you need to get away from something and get off the street or get out of something, it's nice to be able to access it quickly. I have an actual professional lockpick kit with springs that give me ability to rake and spoon and get most locks out, and I've got a quick access tool. It's called a firefighter tool. Firefighting tools of Babylon Corp, if you're interested. They don't sponsor me or anything, but these things work. So basically this is like a shim, and the same way that you credit card from behind to get the lock open, you basically, if you can imagine the lock, you reach right here and that shim piece pulls it open, or you rake from behind the lock. So most locks, most doors, when they close, they will slide in, and you're basically grabbing that piece and popping it out. So it's just a real simple tool. It can get you in and out of a lot of different vehicles. These two devices are lightweight, and they give you the ability to hack a ton of things, whether it's a key or a door or some other thing. And if that doesn't work and it's really life or death, brute force is always the answer. Sometimes a rock, a boot, a window is the way to do it. A lot of times when it comes to getting into a door or something, a lot of people attack the doorknob instead of the hinges. If you take a step back and look at the problem with a more 30,000 foot view, it might be smarter for you to go through this route instead of that route, because that route's technical and this route's simple. So always take a step back and think about the puzzle in a bigger perspective when it comes to getting through doors. Okay, I already talked about medical. Again, if you're in a place where you need self-defense, you need extra ammunition when you run out, and you need medical for the aftermath, because it's inevitable that someone's going to get hurt, and it's best to be prepared to stop that. So I have tourniquets and an IFAK kit in the front of this. I've almost always got this Garmin GPS in here because it's a text message capable device. If your local cell phone tower goes down because of fires or something bad, one thing that will constantly work is satellites. If the satellites don't work, we've got major, massive governmental problems, and then really all you have is radios. So if you kind of have the hierarchy from cell phone with the ability to recharge it, satellites, and radios, you've got your PACE plan, your primary, your alternative, your contingency, and your emergency. So think of it through In the military terms, ideally you just use your phone. If that doesn't work, you text with a satellite device. And if that doesn't work because the cell phones are down and the satellites are down, like EMP level, horrible, nasty crap's going on, your only option is radio. So you have to have had that at a home location where you've stashed it somewhere, in addition to the things you can EDC. I look at a vehicle like an EDC. I've got ham radio and CV in my vehicle, plus I've got a place to sleep. So looking at my vehicle, I've got ham, CV, a place to sleep, a fridge, battery, and a way to go. All I need now is cash and gas, and I can really move quickly and get out of my location in my beater little vehicle. Okay, the last things that I'm gonna cover in here, this is my legit actual EDC. I have a lot of food in here, and in an urban situation, you have access to a lot of water. A Silcott key will give you the ability to pull it out of some of these old buildings. You still want a water purification device of some sort. There's a plethora of water in urban situations, but a lot of it's contaminated. So have a way to filter and purify that water. And unlike the backcountry where I would just boil and drink, in urban areas, I definitely want to filter and charcoal remove because there's chemicals, there's diesel, there's gas, especially at post-flood. A lot of that stuff is super dangerous to drink. So either store it up or have a way to purify it. And then I like to throw some of these Cliff Bars in the back of my bag because they will get me through. I can go a day on just one of those Cliff Bars. I don't enjoy it, but I know I can because I've tried it out in the past. Okay, right here, I've got reloads specifically for, I'm going to run out of ammunition. We've already talked about that. And then the very last thing, and I'm going to cover this, and when 9/11 happened, people were stranded in downtown New York with dress clothes, high heels, flat bottom shoes, and an inability to do anything. Subway shut down, their cash was good, their credit card was not, and it made a situation where they would have given anything for a ride, they would have given anything for running shoes, they would have given anything for socks, and sometimes they would have given anything for a coat. So one of the most primary things that you need to have at least an EDC plan for, either wear a coat around your waist or leave it in your vehicle or have some kind of a plan, is insulation. If you end up spending the night after something bad one happened, maybe you crawl behind a dumpster with a bunch of cardboard and lay it behind a dumpster and crash right there, it's really nice to have heating or insulation. So something like a Soul Escape bivvy that is green, so it's not fluorescent orange, that you can roll up in. It's not crinkly, it's making a little bit of noise, but it's not making crinkle blanket noise. So something like that goes a long way. It gets you through the night so you can deal with your problems in the morning. It weighs little to nothing, and it's an insulation layer. In addition to that, have a coat, have a jacket. You can take that stuff off, but you can't put it back on. This is my solution for EDC. Plan it in layers, change your methodology, make sure that you've got something on your person, and then your bag extends the duration and capacity of the things that you have on your person. Cell phone and batteries. Then if you use that stuff to get back to your vehicle, that again extends your mobility, communication, duration, and capacity. I've got a place to sleep. I've got warm clothes. I've got a fridge that I can put stuff in that runs off the vehicle. So if I get roadkill, I've got a place to put meat. I've got a place to store food. I've got a way to transport something cold, all in a simple vehicle, and I've got communication. The only Achilles heel now is I got 300 miles per gas tank. So I either need to get more fuel or have cash, which is king in an urban environment, so that I can move out of an affected area. Okay, hopefully this is valuable to you. Carry the normal stuff that you carry, but change your methodology by extending your duration and add the tools that will give you the capacity to do that. If you have any comments or concerns or anything you want to talk about, leave them in the comments section. I will reply to them. And thank you for watching.